Well, Helldivers continues to be a game that deals in excitement and combat, explosions, but most of all, deception. Now, I am obviously at risk even saying this, as the Ministry continues to try to silence those of us who are reporting the truth. But in just a short span of time, a handful of the claims and the predictions that I have made came true. Both, and that proves, I think, that the devs, as well as the Ministry of Intelligence, are lying to us. Now, this is a huge conflict of interest to have developers of the game working together with the in-game propaganda spreading government, and now those of us that have been trying to spread the truth are in danger. Now, we could be silenced, we could be court-martialed, worse, we could be prevented from fighting for true democracy. So I wanted to give you a recap of the things that have transpired and draw some conclusions about where things might be headed. Now, I'm doing all of this at the risk of being attacked and silenced by the Ministry of Lies. Now, I put all the good information right here at the beginning of the video in the form of sort of an opening monologue. If you are seeing this, that means we have successfully done a broadcast without them shutting us down. So make sure you hit subscribe, make sure you hit the bell button so you do not miss out on the content. Well, the deception and the lies from the Ministry in Helldivers 2 continues to be put on full display. And the more they try to keep things quiet or give us assurances, the clearer it becomes that something else is going on in the game. From the flying bugs to the termicide to failing a recent major order because it was obviously rigged from the very beginning, it is very apparent that the Ministry cannot be trusted, which is why I have dubbed them the Ministry of Lies. Just this broadcast, just this video that you might be watching on another channel, well, it's putting a target on my back. They will try to silence me. They will try to convince you that I'm guilty of treason, but that's just more lies and more deception. So first, I want to look at the predictions that I have made. Over the weekend, even more info is coming out in support of many of my theories. The Ministry's own video is sort of an attempt to calm our fears. It's actually practically confirming one theory that I had. Now, second, I want to outline all that happened. Some players were not very happy about failing a major order, while others are questioning if this has all been sort of planned. Did they sort of set us up to fail? Lastly, I'll give you sort of my conclusion. Where is all of this heading, and what does it mean for us to fight for democracy and major orders that are given to us from people who are not telling us the truth? So first, my predictions. Well, up first, there was the flying bugs. Now, when reports first started emerging that there were flying bugs in the game, both the CEO and the Ministry flat out denied their existence. They said, we all know that bugs can't fly. But they went even further than that. They called those of us who spoke about the flying bugs, we were basically, just telling the truth. They called us bug sympathizers. We were accused of spreading propaganda. Now, keep all of this in mind when I go over what happened and what was said over the weekend when it became undeniable that there are flying bugs in the game. Then there was the termicide major order. All throughout that mission, we were given assurances that it was very effective against the terminids, but I documented live on my channel what looked like terminids flocking to and enjoying the termicide, almost as if they are drawn to it. Some of them even look like they were evolving while they were sort of near some of the structures where the termicide was leaking. Now, when I streamed this and I pointed this out, I was accused of doctoring the broadcast or spreading misinformation. Well, in light of a recent video put out by the Ministry, I again think they are not giving us the full story on termicide and what it's doing. Now, more on that in a minute. Another major thing that took place was a major order that was so obviously rigged from the very beginning, and unless players are actively studying the way that the planets are actually connected, there was no hope for any good organization on that major order. Ultimately, it became very clear that there was a fail threshold we were going to hit. We had 20 hours to clear 3 planets, and up to that point, we were roughly clearing 1 planet every 24 hours. We were not suddenly going to clear 3 in the time span that we were barely clearing 1. When I told people that the major order was rigged, I was once again decried as treasonous or a quitter. Now, before I walk through all of the evidence and what happened that I think proves that the Ministry cannot be trusted, the last thing that has been both observed by players as well as lied about by the developers and by the Ministry, the Illuminate are here. They are in the game. This is the third enemy faction. And they are, according to the lore, they were sort of eliminated if you study the history books on this, and that is a false claim. I've even said that it wouldn't surprise me if they were in control of the ministry. The actual illuminate could be the ones in charge of the ministry of truth, since the illuminate were known for their religious zealotry. And much of that, the ministry, if you look at the language they use to keep us all in check, that language is full of hubris. It's like something that you would hear from religious zealots. So what happened? Well, for starters, they finally admitted that the flying bugs are in the game, and in doing so, they could not resist the opportunity to once again spin it in a dishonest way. The CEO said the following: "I want to be clear. I have always believed there to be the possibility of flying bugs. Everyone knows that, quote, most bugs fly, and it was only a matter of time before this strain would evolve naturally." So it went from, well, we all know that bugs can't fly, to everybody knows that most bugs fly. This sounds like somebody that's under the control of either the Terminids themselves or maybe something else. You'll also notice that he was sure to include that it was only a matter of time before this strain would evolve naturally, okay? That was very intentional. They are running damage control on the true effects of termicide. It cannot be pure coincidence that as soon as we started pumping termicide into the air, that bugs started growing wings. And the ministry put out a video that claimed termicide clearly prevented even worse mutations. It is obvious they are running propaganda. Now, the CEO wasn't done, because he went on to say, "And to those unpatriotic citizens that question the timing of TCS and termicide testing and deployment, this is completely coincidental and unrelated. 9 out of 9 reputable and super Earth sanctioned scientists agree." It's so painfully obvious that they are lying to us. Anyone who unquestioningly believes this may also be compromised. We don't know what termicide's doing to us. We've been around it. Maybe it makes us more susceptible to believing lies. So the CEO and the ministry have made it very clear they cannot be trusted. Not just with the flying bugs, but the fact that we are the ones causing these mutations. It's likely due to wanting the E710 from the Terminids, and E710 is just code for oil. If you've ever heard the joke about the 710 cap, oil, when you flip it upside down, is 710. So that's what we are actively doing and pursuing by evolving and killing these Terminids. Then, when it comes to the illuminate being in the game, the CEO had a pretty telling response when someone posted a picture on Twitter, and it contained both the flying bugs as well as one of those blue beam shots from the illuminate. He simply replied no with a bunch of O's, like Darth Vader in Star Wars, which I don't think it reads like genuine concern. It was more about shock and worry that more lies are being exposed with clear evidence. Now, before I speak about why I feel like I'm in danger from the ministry itself, there was one last thing that happened. Remember the major order that was all about oil? The one that said, I said at least, it was rigged from moment one? Well, I also said we were going to fail, and we did. We, in fact, failed to complete it. And some fans expressed frustration that the downtime from the PlayStation Network or the crashes in the game, that was to blame for our failure, and that we should be given sort of extra time, like a stay of execution. Now, certainly the PlayStation Network going down did not help, and the crashes in the game are also not helping, right? But the progress from the community midweek was simply not fast enough for us to clear enough planets to complete the major order. I believe it was a setup from the very beginning for us to fail. This was a distraction from the truth about what the termicide was actively doing. I believe that both the downtime and the crashes were not super impactful. The crashes, well, maybe. It might have driven more people to maybe take a break from the game or to not play, but the downtime was simply not long enough to be blamed for the failure. We were set up to fail by the ministry. I truly believe that, which now they're saying we cannot procreate due to the economic loss. So what is my conclusion here? Well, first, I have it on good authority that the ministry is after me. They are attempting to silence my videos, my streams. I learned about a new form that they have been submitting. It is called a BTR form. This stands for Broadcast Termination Request. They are actively trying to get my live broadcast terminated and keep the truth from coming out. Now, we have a Helldivers 2 Updates channel. That's literally the name of it. If you search Helldivers 2 Updates and you toggle for looking for channels, you will find that channel. We are getting mass reports, accusations, and comments. We've been accused of treason. We've been reported to the ministry. They're trying to bully us into stopping spreading the truth. Let me be perfectly clear. I will not be stopped, which is why we formed the Helldivers Liberty Union, for Helldivers who stand for liberty and truth, rather than propaganda and lies. So join the community today. Get in the Discord. Get involved. It's one of the last safe places to discuss what is really going on. And do your best to share my videos. Get the word out. And remember, if I go missing, you know who did it. So that's my take on the issue. Well, at least for now, if I'm able to say it while I'm still safe to say it. So let me give you my closing thoughts and conclusion on this. Obviously, we're having a bit of fun with the game and the lore sort of intersecting with real life, but I think the reason that we can do that is, honestly, the developers get it. This is, I think, a bit of a shock to me. I'll be honest. Like, to see a studio just so fundamentally understand how to stoke the public fires and to keep the live service interest going, it's very unexpected. The biggest worry that I have is that other studios will try to carbon copy this format. It'll be so painfully obvious that it likely won't work. Every game that wants to be successful in live service, I think they would be good to sort of try to contextualize what Arrowhead is doing with Helldivers 2, sort of put that into their own game. You know, basically don't do what they're doing, but come up with your own way of doing it. The second thing I want to say is, even when I don't have time to play Helldivers 2, I'm booting up the game, I'm checking on the progress, I'm checking on the announcements. With the past live service games, I don't think I ever turned on the game if, like, I knew I didn't have time to play, just to check on what was happening in the world. Now, I think they've done a good job of sort of marrying personal progress with the overall galactic war map, as well as the story that is unveiling, like sort of they're revealing the story over time. I'm just not invested simply because I want to see what happens, like that's part of it, but I'm also invested because I get stuff from the story progressing. Like, we get new weapons, stratagems, you know, new battle passes, just new bugs to fight, new experiences to have, and then obviously you get medals if you're helping with the major order. My conclusion is this: don't let the devs or the Ministry of Lies win. We should be fighting against the propaganda with truth. They're going to continue to use videos and tweets and updates to mislead us about what's really going on. And that's part of the fun here, is sort of figuring out what's really going on in the actual game. I believe we're closer to the truth than ever before. Whether it's the Terminids that are in control or the Illuminate, it doesn't really matter. One thing is clear: the Ministry of Truth cannot be trusted. They are the Ministry of Lies, and I will continue to expose them. And those are my thoughts on the matter. Now, as long as they don't shut this broadcast down, it's time to hear your thoughts on the matter. So that's the show open, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. We thought we'd have a bit of fun with Helldivers today and just kind of talk about what we think's going on. Are you playing? Are you helping out with the major order? Have you seen any flying bugs? There's now really big vehicles that are slowly showing up, like Joel is apparently just dropping things into the game, like big vehicles for us to try out and to experiment with. I'm not sure if you guys have seen those videos. I tweeted one of the videos out. A good reason to follow Reforge Gaming on Twitter is so that you can see those. I try to tweet those anytime I see them. You guys were good to mention me, tag me, and send me DMs about it. So thank you everybody who did that. And guys, make sure you're going through the morning ritual. Hit the subscribe button if you want to talk in chat. Hit the like button if you're enjoying the broadcast. It helps more people. Yeah, there are 4 lights. That's right. There's a good Star Trek reference. And we are trying to get to 2,500 members this week. We dropped over the weekend. This is typical. This is very normal for the end of the month. We usually have a strong push at the end of the month. If we can hit 2,500 members before Friday, we will do a big community game night with you guys. We're currently at 2147, so you guys have got a bit of a way to go. I'm not going to lower the goal any more than I already have. That kind of defeats the purpose. We've already lowered it to make it, achievable. That rant sounded like treason. It wasn't even a rant. I'm just reporting the truth to you. I'm just simply telling you guys what is actually going on. They lied about the flying bugs. They're lying about the termicide. They're lying about all of it. Yo, Patrick Q, Han shot first, and so did you. He's like, let's get started, boys. We can easily do this week. We've had far bigger weeks than what you guys need this week, so we can easily get this done. And the first one comes out from Patrick Q. Thank you so much for doing that. Nice one, Reforge. Thank you. One Helldivers 2 info. This is where it's at. I appreciate that. Eugene, let me see what he's saying here. He says, opening up Discord images. There we go. It was like being weird. First, it was Twitter console warriors that were out to get him. Now it's the ministry. Perpetual victimhood and paranoia from this one. Either off his meds again or his stash was laced. Might want to find a better dealer. I'm not paranoid at all. Have you seen the comments on our channel? Have you go to the Helldivers 2 updates channel? We're constantly accused of treason. We're constantly being reported to the ministry. They're trying to shut us down. Like, I'm not paranoid. It's actually happening. If the termicide is what's mutating the bugs, why are the shriekers appearing on planets that did not get the termicide while there are still no bugs on those planets? Because the actual network between the planets, that's how the bugs reinforce. That's actually how the bugs reinforce. So the planets that we did the termicide on, those bugs can go to other planets. So I believe we started the mutations and now they're just spreading. They're going to other places. Let's get to the important part, Lono. The Ministry of Lies took away snoo time. A snoo time? I had a weekend furlong only to find out that I can't spend it on special time, my lady. Good night. Why is Eugene trying so hard to discredit Lono? Right, like why? What did they tell you? How much are they paying you to discredit me? You know, why are you coming after me so strongly? What if it just turns out to be vanilla geopolitics? Long con. They want war, so they fund and arm and develop both sides to keep the war machine funded. Right, like is the Ministry of Lies, are they in cahoots with the Illuminate? Have they somehow figured out a way? Well, I don't necessarily think they figured out a way to communicate with the Terminids. I think they like killing the Terminids for the oil because there's a lot of money to be made from that. That's why they said that we can no longer procreate because of the economic loss from failing the one major order. We didn't get the E710 that we were supposed to get. I think once I respected this man's, I revoke your FromSoft card. You can't revoke my FromSoft card because I'm just trying to spread the truth about Helldivers. My FromSoft card is well in place. Ashen, you'd be very proud. We're going to be doing a Rise of the Ronin review stream later with Kirk. And I actually am really enjoying that game. And I think, you know, historically I would have been frustrated by the difficulty, but I'm just in a better headspace with games like that. I kind of know, you know, how to adapt. We'll talk about that later, though. I don't want to sabotage this show with that. It's all my fault. I was on vacation last week and I was unable to help with any liberation efforts. Well, I mean, to be fair, it is embarrassing that you weren't here to help, but we were not going to win. That major order was a setup from the very beginning. It was rigged from moment one. Is that a Moon Knight t-shirt? No, it's just another one from Into the AM. It's just like a giant squid-like monster in like it almost looks like a FromSoft shirt because there's a knight down here in the street, like some gothic town that has been invaded by a giant squid, and he's the one to save them. Someone should put out like a PSA video with a mask on and a voice changer exposing the lies and the corruption, get the community really going. I mean, hey man, you got to get the truth out there somehow, you know? Because he's part of the machine that has led to the abandonment of the automaton theater. But there's not... We're not gaining anything by fighting the automatons, you know, on the creek. There's no reason to be fighting there. Lono, if you're in danger, wear a series of stylish graphics tees. That's right. That's my signal to the world that I'm in danger. He's in cahoots with the ministry to distract us from the real issues. How am I in cahoots with the ministry? I'm calling them the Ministry of Lies. I'm calling them out. We can't trust them. All their videos are propaganda. The CEO of the company is in on it. They're all in on it. They're not telling us the truth. We're out here doing major orders and we don't even know what for. They're telling us that the termicide is like very effective. They knew that the termicide would evolve the bugs. They knew that. That's exactly why they had us do it. They want more oil. Bread and circus while the bots run free. I'm not worried about the bots. The bots are not a concern. The concern is that we're out here doing stuff. We don't know the real story. That's part of the problem with the game right now. They're just telling us whatever is convenient. Why did they lie to us about the flying bugs? Like, what was the reason for that? Lono out there with balls of strings and tinfoil hat connecting imaginary dots. Reforge wrote balanced acidity contains LSD. Fact. No, it does not. We're about to lose another planet to the bots if we don't defend against this counterattack. Let all 3,000 of the bot fighters handle the creek. We'll focus on getting major orders done. Yeah, we're clearly trying to do the right thing, and yet I'm sitting here telling you that even their major orders that we're doing right now with the Terminids, it's all a ruse. It's all a ruse. It's not real. They're lying to us. What do you think they're going to do with all that oil? Well, they're going to try to create an economic boom. Well, let's think, what's that going to do? That's going to create an intrinsic economic reliance on us killing these bugs for forever. They're essentially creating a reliance on this war that we're fighting with them. It can never end. Yo, Dodevis hits 27 months on a 5-bomb to start the day off on top of the single we already have. Thank you so much, Dodevis. You guys are going to have to bring the heat. And I'll be honest, we have something going on Friday night, okay? We have something going on Friday night. If we don't hit the goal, I'm not going to rush back to do a stream. I will do it, though. I will rush back with the fam. We will set up and do a stream with you guys on Friday night if we hit 2,500 members. But if not, I'll probably be taking the night off because it's pretty stressful to do that. But we will celebrate. We will honor the goal if you guys hit it. You guys got a way to go. You got to get about 300 members this week. Yo, Derek got one from Dodevas. There it is. Derek's back in the mix. The major order is basically done already. Go hold the other line. Yeah, well, why wouldn't they give us the major order now? The last time we completed a major order, as soon as we completed it, we got it, and now they're holding out. If the ministry is lying, then their orders are not the right thing. You're advocating to follow their orders. You are the machine. Well, no, I actually think that's part of the dilemma that they've set up. If we don't fight the bugs are going to try to come wipe us out. So I do stand for freedom, and I do stand for democracy. I'm just trying to tell you there's a bigger play going on. There's a bigger angle from the ministry. We can't ignore the Terminids. We can't ignore the threat to our way of life and our freedom. We can't just be like, no, that's fine because the ministry's lying. Let the Terminids come. You can't do that. Basically done. It's not done. I mean, the timer's got a countdown, but it's done. We've done the 4 planets that were required. We've done that before. It's all propaganda. We need to listen to the evidence on the ground. We are the ones fighting. That's exactly right. We're the ones on the ground. We know what's happening. Victory with 9 months of membership. I still haven't finished FF7 Rebirth yet because I've been dividing time between that and Helldivers 2. This game is crazy fun. Ronin eventually, though. Yeah, if you guys are curious what I think about Ronin, I hit 10 hours, I believe. I was even playing this morning. I'm really enjoying it way more than I thought I would. There are still issues with the game. Don't worry. I'm going to be talking about that with Kirk in about an hour and 45 minutes. The bugs have no ships. They can't go anywhere. Well, then how are they traveling from planet to planet, Eugene? Is the ministry actively transporting them? These conspiracies will not stand, Lono. I'm reporting you to the ministry. Listen, the ministry is actively submitting BTR. They're submitting BTR forms every day. Those are broadcast termination requests. They're trying to actively take down these live streams. Like, you can report me as many times as you want. They're not able to take down my streams. I'm going to continue to tell the truth. They're only on planets that we put them on. You're perpetuating the cycle being played. So what you're advocating for, Eugene, is the complete abandonment of the Terminid planets. And when we do that, they advance to other planets and get closer to Super Earth. So you're saying that we should just let that happen. Lono is just another mechanism of control. I am not a mechanism of control. I'm a mechanism of truth. I am trying to tell you what is actually going on in the game so that we could uncover more. It doesn't mean that we abandon the front lines and let the bugs come and kill us, but we can actively try to dissuade people from believing the propaganda of the Ministry of Lies. Come on, man. They can submit BTRs all day long. I'm still here. I'm not going to keep telling people what's really going on in the game. It's not as simple as like, well, because the ministry's lying, what do? We just stop fighting? A $5 super chat tip from the Green Monster. Get back in line, Helldiver. Any more of this and you're looking at treason. You know, I've been accused of treason for the last couple of weeks and nothing's happened to me. So y'all can keep saying it. He's a double agent. I saw your stream playing in the illegal broadcast side objective. That would be so dope if they were able to do that, to like put real clips, you know, of people saying like, I don't think the ministry is telling us the truth, and they like put it in the game. That'd be amazing. Controlled opposition. Behemoth says, I'm confused. I play the game and all these things are not shown. What are you talking about, Behemoth? Studies they will do on this game in years to come to how properly to do live service. It's incredible. Yeah, I certainly don't think you want to have other games try to copy this, though. I think you got to be careful with that. It'll be obvious if people try to copy. They got to come up with their own version of what Arrowhead's doing. The ministry will be sending compliance agents shortly. You do that. You send them. 22 months from Kyle Wilkerson. It's a VIP, says F the ministry. All you're doing is perpetuating a cycle where you kill bugs for the profits of the war machine. Meanwhile, we have a space faring existential threat knocking on our door that you and the ministry conspire to keep us blind to. I'm not keeping you blind to it. I'm simply saying you guys can do what you're doing over there on the creek. I'm out here trying to investigate. I need to do the major orders. If we wouldn't have done the termicide major orders, then we wouldn't have footage of the bugs mutating on stream. We wouldn't have footage of the bugs actively seeking out the termicide because they liked it, right? If you don't properly investigate the major orders and the terminids and the effect of the termicide, then we're not going to know what to do. I'm trying to uncover the truth. You don't uncover the truth by abandoning the front lines and going and fighting robots. What sounds like to me is you're scared of the truth. So you're running to your comfort of fighting robots on the same planet over and over again because you're scared. I know a coward when I see one. You're running from the actual fight, convinced you're doing something by fighting the same fight every day on the same planet. The fact that Lono hasn't been shut down shows you it's important to have a controllable voice of dissent. Join his union and we'll see you in the brig. That's right. That's right. The ministry isn't sending agents to him. He's in cahoots with them. No. They don't know where I am. They don't know where I operate out of. You guys all think I'm in Kentucky, but that's been the long con all along. You don't know where I am. Yo, Bengals fan, thanks for jumping back in as a member. How can you even look Democracy Officer in the eye and start the mission? Listen, they know that even though I'm saying what I'm saying, I'm still a useful soldier on the battlefield. So that's why they let me go out there. They understand that in order to win a war, you've got to have people on the ground. Lono's going to have to start doing these streams with a mask and a voice filter. Yeah, I mean, if I have to hide my identity, I will, but I mean, it's too late for that, you know? They know the name of my ship, Guardian of Truth. They know what I think. They know where my channels are. They know where my content is. There's no hiding. Welcome back, Behemoth, as a VIP. We've seen you play. Useful as a stretch. Home of Super Bourbon. That's right. Lono's never been to Super Earth. You take that back. That's a lie. That is an absolute lie. Lono's broadcasting out of Hellmire as a bug sympathizer. Why would a bug sympathizer actively try to kill them? Why would a bug sympathizer try to expose the fact that termicide's evolving them? Like, explain that to me. Wouldn't a bug sympathizer try to keep it quiet and say that flying bugs aren't real? Wouldn't a bug sympathizer try to say that termicide's very effective? Wouldn't a bug sympathizer try to say that, like, the termicide's not the cause of the evolution of these bugs? That sounds like a bug sympathizer to me. Somebody who wants the bugs to be evolving and flourishing and breeding and spreading. That sounds like a bug sympathizer to me. And you know where all that information come from? That all came from the Ministry of Lies. And it also came from the CEO. And a 20 bomb comes in from Behemoth. He claims Agent of Chaos just that fast by himself, blasting past the 25. I now owe you guys 5 members. We're off to a strong start. You guys are going to need like 300 members this week if you want that community game night this week. My wife and I have something going on Friday, but we will come back and do a stream with y'all if you can hit 2,500 members this week. We fell a little bit over the weekend, so we're going to have to climb back up on the horse. It is tough when you get close to the end of the month, but I believe that you guys can pull it off. It's all projection from the ministry. What do you mean it's all projection from the ministry? He knows what a big bug sympathizer would say a little too well. Yeah, because I've studied them, Zubair. I've studied bug sympathizers. I have studied what they would say, the way that they think, the way that they operate. That's the only way you can sniff them out. You got to find them. You got to find them and destroy them. I'm just waiting for the stream to cut out randomly and have a screen that shows the Ministry of Truth does not approve of these messages. I'm not going that far into production and making stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It would be fun to do. Lono sure knows a lot about bug sympathizers. That's right, because you need to know your enemy, right? Instead of just blanketly accepting all the nonsense that the ministry tells you, I actually know the enemy. I know what they look like. I know how they think. I know how they operate. All right, let me gift the 5 members that I owe you guys. There we go. Got a big white screen. I can't see chat right now as I gift 5 members of the community. Guys, welcome on in. You've also been studying those bug ladies. No, that's not true. That's another lie. That's a smear campaign. That's a smear campaign started by the ministry. That's not true at all. That's never been a thing. Bug King Lono, tell him our true goal that us bugs have to offer. I don't know what you're talking about. The ministry will come after Lono if he keeps up the lies about them. No, they can't. They can't come after me because they don't know where I am. We've taken the proper precautions to stay off of their radar. To be quite honest with you, the ministry is too busy trying to get oil, right? They're too utilitarian. They're not actually all that bright, okay? They're not. They're not that strong. That's why they have separate departments, the Ministry of Science and the Ministry of Intelligence. It's all separated because they're too stupid to do it on their own. So they have to break it up into different compartments, and those individual compartments are all pretty weak. They've been cobbled together over the years, just more propagandized scientists who have been told that their research has to get the appropriate results to support the messaging. So you're not even dealing with smart people. They've completely gutted the intelligence. The intelligence committee is not even intelligent anymore. They're literally just people that are doing what they're told. So they've completely gutted their ability to find people like me because they've removed all people that are actually qualified to do scientific research or reconnaissance or discovering the IP address of somebody who's using, backwards netcode reinforcement. So they don't actually have the ability to find me. And that's because they did this to themselves. They're too stupid to find me. They got rid of all their smart people. All their smart people are dead in a ditch because they were treasonous for saying, science didn't support the results that they wanted. So all the smart people are dead. That's what you get underneath the ministry. That's the results that you can hope for. When you're fighting a two-front war, one side will suffer a lot more. We must know, how did you turn in your fellow crewmates? The engineer, the democracy officer, and the whole ship, they're all compromised? No. They know the truth. They're obviously a part of this. They know. They let me operate because they understand that the mission is bigger than the mission, right? That's one of our mottos, okay? And if you guys get it, then you get it. If you don't, you don't. But the mission is bigger than the mission, right? Whatever mission you're going on is not quite as big as the ultimate mission. So, if you can get in line with that, the mission is bigger than the mission. Lono refers to a sexy time with bug ladies as dropping a hell bomb. That is simply untrue. Guys, do me a favor and smash that like button. Let's get our first 200 likes. We're about 30 minutes into the broadcast. Thankfully, not been shut down yet by the ministry. And you guys can keep reporting me. They don't have the ability to do anything to us. And that's because of their own weakness. They've hurt themselves. They've been more concerned with their zealotry and their propaganda that they've completely gutted their ability to have an intelligent force of, tech specialists and scientists, More like an eagle strafing run. Got some quick deployment time. That's after he eats Chipotle. Oh my gosh. Did you guys play over the weekend? I felt like they were basically apologizing for the failed major order by giving us a major order that was basically already done. I believe, Lono, we should have a Helldivers podcast panel. A Helldivers podcast panel. I'm not sure who I could trust to be on the panel. We would only want people who can be trusted. We don't want people that are potentially going to be compromised. You know, we need people that are going to support the truth, not people that are going to, you know, just buy into the lies. You know, there's only so much. There's only so much you can do to truly investigate somebody to know whether or not they're trustworthy. But I think at this point in time, you know, there's too many people that are defending the ministry, or they're defending the Terminids, or they're denying that the Illuminator here, you know. I don't buy into any of it. I know it's all fake. It's not the Matrix level fake, but it's fake. They're selling us a fake story. I think by the end of this week, you're going to see even more of my predictions coming true, right? We're going to discover that the termicide is what evolved the bugs. We're going to discover that the bugs are becoming more aggressive, but and they're going to be breeding faster. But because of that, they're going to be generating more oil. We're going to discover that the illuminate aren't just here, but they're potentially part of the ministry. We're going to discover all of that probably this week. You know? People that support your truth? No, I don't buy into your truth or my truth. There is only the truth, okay? And the truth is right before our eyes. You're just refusing to see it. And that's your own fault. All you got to do is open your eyes. Like, why would they say that the termicide clearly prevented even worse mutations? Why would the CEO of the company say that this happened naturally, and that anybody that thinks it's related to the termicide is an unpatriotic person? Like, why would they be so quick to go on the attack? If the science supports it, then just point to the science. Where's the research? Where's the data? All we have are commercials, right? It's like watching a Super Bowl. Like, there's just nothing but commercials. It doesn't feel real. JW with 37 months and a VIP plus. I just love how a game that was barely on anybody's radar has turned into this. Such a great, fun game that appears to have a decent future. Also, you're the man, Lono. I know you speak the truth. That's right. That's right. I've always been beholden to the truth, and you guys know that in this instance, it's the same deal. It's the same deal. The orbital laser gets the job done for Chargers, but I found out a secret. Chargers have a weakness. This is actually the Chargers' biggest weakness. What's the Chargers' biggest weakness? What, are you dropping resupplies on them? Does that actually work? I've been without Reforged Roast for a week, and I can't think, and I can only think, I can think so much more clearly. What is in the coffee? Old Dad Gamer says, I'll tell you what, if I just joined the stream and heard you talking, I'd have to check whose channel I clicked on. Alex Jones or Lono. Tip of the cap to you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you. Not that I have anything in common with him, but I'm telling you that look at how many things I got right, okay? How many predictions do I have to get right before you realize that I'm the one telling the truth? Let's count them off, all right? First, flying bugs in the game. I put the tweets out. I put the videos out. I documented it, and I was called treasonous. I was called a liar, okay? Well, flying bugs are in the game. And now that they're finally admitting it, do they go back and have any retractions? Do they have any comments on the lies that they spread? No, they don't. Also, the termicide was evolving the bugs and potentially giving them new abilities like flying. I documented that. I showed footage. I was on the ground. I was there. You saw it and I saw it. And I was called a liar. I was accused of doctoring my own broadcast. And now we have it on very good authority that the termicide is in fact what has evolved them and given them the ability to fly, as the CEO is trying to run damage control against that. Those are just two things that have happened, and I'm not done. The major order last week, as soon as it dropped, I said, this major order is rigged. We are being set up to fail here. Why? Because they want to keep us under their control. And what happened? We failed the major order. Now, you want to blame it on crashes or the PlayStation Network going down. That was probably the work of the ministry. They wanted to give you a likely excuse as to why we failed the major order so that you don't wake up to the fact that the major order was rigged from moment one. That's 3 things that I got right, and I'm not done. Number 4, the Illuminate are here. They're in the game. It's been documented. There is footage. To the degree that there was a screenshot of both flying bugs and an Illuminate shot, a blue beam, and the CEO had no response. He just said no. Like, how is that your response? After telling us that the blue beams aren't real and flying bugs aren't real, and then once it's documented, you don't even have a response? Give me a break. With that batting average, you better believe that I'm onto them. Just playing his part like all the useful idiots. The termicide could not cause evolution that fast. More likely, it just unlocked something that was already genetically engineered into the bugs, waiting to be activated. How long is this con? Zubair, I have to question why you seemingly have so much information, right? You sound like somebody who's in on the plan. How did you even know that could be a reality? Are you an expert on the evolutionary process of the Terminids and how fast they change? Were you there on the day that they were born? Were you there on the day that they were discovered? How do you know how fast they can evolve, right? This is not some species that is indigenous to planet Earth. They could have faster evolutionary processes that we're not accustomed to. You sound like you're more informed than me, which means that you'd be on the scientific side of things, which means you might understand how the termicide works more than me. I spend a lot of time on YouTube, a lot of time. You'd be amazed at the channels that are out there. They already had wings. Of course they could have learned to fly. What do you mean they already had wings? I didn't see any wings on Chargers up until over the weekend when the footage started circulating. When did you see wings on the Chargers? Human type person, what an obviously fake username, trying to convince everybody that you're a human type person as opposed to what other type of person could you be, right? What are you talking about? I'm playing with the 40 over the weekend. We got stuck with just the 2 of us. SOS didn't work. He would sneak up on a Charger and just call in resupply. It worked every time. I actually thought about that the other day, Fuzzy. I thought, wouldn't that be amazing is if you could time resupply since they come down. Well, they take a long time to come down, though. That'd be the only problem with the timing. Like you're saying, you had to sneak up. DK Bager gifts a member, and it goes to Matty Beast, taking us to 27. You guys are going to need to have a couple of big days this week. We need about 300 members. You know, I say we do 100 each day. Let's just take it nice and slow and steady. Don't go crazy all on one day, right? We've done that before. We don't need 400 and 500 members. Let's just do 100 each day. We'll have it by midweek. We've got a big community game night that we're going to do Friday night with y'all if we can hit the goal. Chargers be flying. Have you not seen the footage, Trill? There are Chargers in the game that can fly. Yes. This game needs hologram decoys to distract enemies while the resupply is dropping. Oh, that would be a really cool stratagem, right? Lono's going full method actor with this one. What do you mean? I'm not acting at all. This is real life. I'm not making this up. This is all happening. This is real. This isn't. I wrote a monologue. I did an open to the show with this. This isn't acting. What are you talking about? I outlined it on the board over there. Termicide clearly prevented even worse mutations. It's in quotations on my dry erase board. This is real. What are you talking about? You can stick a Charger with the resupply when they rear up. You can stick it to the knee. Does it follow them, though? If I see a Charger flying, I'm done. Well, you better be prepared to quit, you coward. They're in the game. I've seen at least 2 pieces of footage of them. It's terrifying. But you might be able to get some shots on that underside and then kill them faster, you know? That's where all the soft parts are, you know? That might actually be to our advantage, just on the Chargers specifically. Infinite says, good morning, humans. Brett Williams says, terminating illegal broadcast. They've already tried that. You can't shut me down. Is the Illuminate in the room with us right now? No. Listen to me. Listen to me. The illuminate, I believe, are the ones controlling the ministry, and I've got a pretty good theory about this, all right? According to the history books, which at this moment in time, we actually don't know who documented this or wrote this down, but according to the history books, the illuminate were wiped out. I don't believe that for a minute, because the same people that told us there were no flying bugs are the same people telling us that the illuminate were wiped out. Now, according to all of the research and according to all of the files, at least the ones that have not been redacted, the illuminate were known for their religious zealotry. Now, who speaks to us on a regular basis in religious zealotry ways? Who? The ministry. So, it is my belief that the illuminate's only plan of survival was subversion. Okay? They fake destruction so that we think they're no longer a threat. Then they take over from the inside out. And what they do is they convince us that there's these threats, the automatons and the terminids. And the terminids are just a means of oil. Okay? Well, oil is a means of economic success and money. And we all know religious zealots love money. So the religious zealotry of the illuminate, I think, is still well in hand. It's just happening all completely under the radar. We've been completely duped by an enemy that we thought we destroyed, and they're now in control. They're in control of all of it. I'm too busy dodging shriekers to look for flying chargers. Do you think Lono keeps his hair tall to hide the antennae? I've had this haircut for a very long time. That's a wing? Yeah, because those guys have been able to fly short distances since the game came out. That's not a new thing, human type person. Those guys can like jump and like flap and fly for very short distances. It's like watching a grasshopper, right? That's not the same as shriekers or chargers with wings. Are you saying the Illuminator trying to reverse seer human society? I don't know if it's a reverse seer, but they definitely played a reverse Uno card, that's for sure. The ministry is covering up for the Illuminate. I think the ministry is the Illuminate. I think that's the grand conspiracy behind all of this. I believe the Illuminate are in control. They're the ones calling the shots right now. Look at the way they treat us. Look at the way they talk to us. It's the behavior of religious zealots. And believe me, I've had plenty of experience with religious zealots. That's what's going on. I'm a believer of the Illuminate prosperity gospel. That's not funny. That's not funny. We burned all those books for good reason, you know? But to what end, you crackpot? To what end? The only end that religious zealots know. Power. World or galactic domination. Why else would they be so interested in oil to get tons of money? Why? What did they say they were going to use this money for, right? The spread of freedom. And now that we didn't get all of that money, they have told us to stop what? Procreating. So what are they creating? They are creating a subversive and dependent populace. If the Helldivers continue on the front lines, getting the E710 for the Illuminate, not the Ministry of Lies, the Illuminate, what are they gaining by that? They're able to then spread and control human population. They can tell us where to go, where to live, how to breed, how often to breed. They're treating us like cattle. Don't you see? It's all part of the plan. The entire thing is a ruse. They're telling you that the Terminids are this threat to our way of life. What it is they're a means to an end. They're a means to economic growth and the spread of human population under their control and under their supervision. They want a controlled populace. Look at what we're doing. We're doing everything they tell us to. We're going where they tell us to go. We're killing what they want us to kill. What better way to spread your power and your influence than to do it, you know, almost like tangentially or horizontally through another another species. I mean, think about it. If you could clone and create a bunch of silverback gorillas and have them fight your war for you, don't you think you'd do that? You'd be like, well, let's convince them to do it. You know, let's convince them to invade Canada so we don't have to, you know? And then you've got these silverback gorillas convinced that they should go and do this, right? You put little chips in their brains and you convince them to go do this. That's what's going on. They have us convinced to do this. We're fighting their fight for them, and they're growing us like cattle to use. That's why the minute we failed a major order, what was their first response? Their first response was not, okay, let's figure out a way to win, or let's figure out a counterattack. What was their response? Their response was, you better stop procreating. You better stop procreating. Why? Because they're controlling us. They're controlling us like cattle. Lono knows a lot about making mind-controlled guerrilla army, just saying. Silverback gorillas, but they're not sending charges to fight bots. They don't need to send the chargers to fight bots. They have us. We're doing everything they tell us to. We are. We're doing everything they tell us to. It doesn't matter the name of the planet. It doesn't matter the threat level. It doesn't matter if there's meteor showers. It doesn't matter if there is the threat of imminent death or failure. We're doing whatever they tell us to do. Harbinger with a gifted member. Thank you so much. Like, they literally gave us a major order that we knew we couldn't achieve. We knew we were going to fail the major order last week, and we did it anyway. How's that for control? They don't need to do anything. They don't need to fight the automatons. They don't need to fight the terminids. They have us, a compliant and stupid, species doing everything that we're told. So close to understanding, so close. I understand more than you. Like, painful how close? We'll lay it out for us, Eugene. What are we missing? How I think are the different stages of the Terminids. Oh, somebody's outlined how they think they evolve. Guys, thanks for 200 likes on the video. I greatly appreciate it. Thanks for the turnout today. Having a little bit of fun talking Helldivers. If you're a fan of Helldivers 2, this is a great channel to become a member of. Hit the join button. Make sure when you join on your own, you pick the $6 member tier. The $5 tier is reserved for gifted. We've already had a bunch of people gift today. We are trying to hit 2,500 members before Friday, so we can do a big community game night. If you're looking for people to play Helldivers 2 with, this is a great community to do that, and that's part of the membership, is that you get into the Discord. Lono's third eye has opened. He sees the truth. Fact number 1, Lono is a 304. Fact number 2, profit. Fact number 3, I'm using this meme all wrong. The fight against the bugs is not our fight. Neither is the fight against the automatons. Listen, you got to understand something, Eugene. Even when you go fight the automatons, you're still doing what the ministry has told us to do. What have they said? Keep the automatons back. You're no different. You're just fighting on the red side as opposed to the yellow side. You're doing the exact same thing. You're compliant. You're as compliant as I am. I'm at least doing it knowing that it's a ruse, trying to uncover the truth, trying to uncover the real story. Yeah, there you go, Abe. New badge for you. That's the 3-year badge. The Illuminate brainwashed us into fighting their wars. That's what I believe, yes. 304 is some serious business. What is going on here? What's this? Titan handheld calculator turned upside down. It's a hoe. I didn't know that joke. All we ever learned how to spell with our calculators was boobies, so I never learned how to spell hoe. Yo, Abe with 36 months on a VIP. 3 years of watching Lono do his own research. We see the truth. That's right. The illuminate to Lono. You talking mad crap for someone in flamethrower distance. Super Earth doesn't care because there's no profit in fighting the bots. Yeah, but we're still fighting them. They've still given us major orders to go fight them. Why would they be doing that? If it's not profitable to fight the automatons, then why have they sent us to fight them on numerous occasions? What's been the purpose and the point of that? You know? 304 is a modern invention. These kids are hilarious. Yeah, I don't remember doing that. You know? Which, you know, that's the first sign of a weak argument. If you're just going to attack me, Zubair, you want to call me a hoe? That's fine. You can call me a hoe. That doesn't change the fact that I've made a very compelling argument today. Is there a legit threat? So let me ask you this, Eugene. Do you agree with me that the footage in the Ministry of Truth video where the Terminids are on Super Earth and they kill that guy's family, do you believe that that was all staged? That they don't, you know, the Terminids don't actually have a means of getting to Super Earth? Do you believe that that was fake? Fighting the bots to weaken our resolve against the Terminids. The bugs are an out-of-control infestation. The bots are malevolent, and their only goal is to kill us. How could we defeat them? They seem so much more advanced than we do. Alex Jono. They're not on Super Earth? There's footage of Terminids on Super Earth. Right? It was a colony? What are you talking about? When that video first pops up, it says Super Earth. And then they show us footage on Super Earth, and there's Terminids there, a colony where they were breeding and harvesting bugs. So you think that the footage of the Terminids killing that family was not an infestation. It was not an invasion. It was breeded bugs that had escaped. So it's been completely flipped. So what you're saying is they cut part of the footage out. They cut part of the story, okay? So you're then in agreement with me that the Ministry of Truth is the Ministry of Lies. They cannot be trusted, which then therefore means even fighting the automatons, you can't know that you're doing the right thing. That's just a commercial. That was real. Those people died. That was real footage. It wasn't AI. It wasn't CGI. That actually happened. He came home from work. You know, they were getting ready to film a commercial about how great life was on Super Earth, and those Terminids interrupted it. You're an agent of them? How am I an agent of them? I'm actively calling them out for their lies. I don't trust either of you. Well, at least I'm calling them out. I'm just calling them liars. I think Lono was lying about this video because I've never seen it. You've never seen the video? You've never seen it. Helldivers 2 trailer. I will show you the video, okay? Hang on. Is this it? Is this the right one? I need the right one. I don't want to click on somebody who just re-uploads. I like watching like the official trailers. Okay. Here we go. Now, it says mix of CG footage and some in-game. Now, I don't know. Do we get it in this one? Do we get it? No, I think this is just all action. I don't think we get the one on Super Earth. Yeah, that's not the right one. Hang on. I'll find the right one. Is it in United We Stand? Which one is it in? Is it in the announcement trailer? Yeah, here it is. Okay, hang on. I got it. I got to turn off closed captions. And I got to turn off this. Now, I want you to watch carefully here. This is real. Look at his face. Look at their... I got like the perfect freeze frame. You know, let's just get... They're coming for you. All right, anyway. This isn't funny, okay? This is not a laughing matter. That is real fear. That is real terror on their face. Okay? This is not CGI. You know? I mean, he's done for. He's got nice dress shoes on, though. I bet you they were getting ready to go to church. You know? And he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't have a weapon. He doesn't have anything. Now, do you think this is all CGI? You think that's fake? Is that fake blood on his shirt? You know? Yeah, they went to Super Church. They were getting ready to go to Super Church. It's clear. He had his Sunday school shoes on. I don't think that that's fake. I think that actually happened. I think that guy's family was murdered right in front of him. And he's probably their head guy for spreading democracy and propaganda. They mention it's CGI? No, that was a different trailer. I don't see any mention of CGI here. Brought to you by the Super Earth Ministry of Truth, right? Which is SEMT, Super Earth Ministry of Truth. Undivided attention is mandatory. Right? Now, there could be clues in this trailer, like his license plate is Fab 9712, 23892 Fairview Lane. You know, those could be clues. You never know. Like somebody operating inside of the propaganda machine could know for a fact, you know, that we were going to watch this later. You really have to wonder, though, when you break this down frame by frame, you know, he doesn't try to run. He doesn't. They just lay down. Isn't that interesting? It's almost like there's like short-range mind control or something with the Terminids. It's not fake, but it's not Super Earth. What do you mean? When the thing opens up, it says right here, it says Super Earth. It says our way of life, all right? And it cuts to here. That is Super Earth. This is the Super Earth planet. You can tell this is a neighborhood. They have like a local fountain. There's little playgrounds here, right? If this was a colony where they were breeding the bugs, you wouldn't have families and children there. You would only have soldiers and scientists. You wouldn't have roads that say slow, right? All signs point to this is Super Earth. This doesn't make any sense if you think that this is a breeding colony. Watch till the end? No. He says, sweet liberty. No. Invasion. See? It says invasion. You think you can't describe an invasion, an outbreak, as an invasion. Super Earth was invaded by the Terminids. Now you've got to decide whether or not the Ministry put them there, or they actually somehow figured out a way to get to Super Earth. It was the old Earth? No, that's how the video opens. It says Super Earth, our way of life, and then this happens. Super Earth was invaded by the Terminids. Now, either it was manufactured by the Ministry, or they were able to figure it out. They figured out a way of bringing them to us. Or I'm sorry, the bugs figured out a way to get to us. Watch till the end. What's at the end? All right. What's he say there? Won't show the full video? What's he say? Hang on. Let me turn my music off. We're really going to break this down.
All over the galaxy right now, familiar? Scenes like these are happening all over the galaxy right now. And you could be next. That is, unless you make the most important decision of your life. Prove to yourself that you have the strength and the courage to be free. Join the Helldivers.
Okay, so what did I miss there? That was clearly an invasion on Super Earth. Nothing he said changed anything. He's a paid actor. He's a paid actor. So it was fake. You think the footage was fake. I think he enlisted in Super Earth. I'm sorry, he enlisted as a Helldiver. That's what happened. He enlisted as a Helldiver. He said, well, my family was killed right in front of me, so I'm gonna become a soldier. Falling for propaganda? No. I'm not falling for propaganda. I'm saying it actually happened. We just don't know. Were the Terminids put there by the Ministry, or did they find out a way to travel, have interplanetary travel? We don't know. A $5 super chat tip from the Green Monster. It's a CGI commercial to get people to enlist. It's just showing what could happen if we don't push the bugs back. Either way, it supports what I'm saying, that the Ministry is the ones putting it together. They either brought the Terminids to us, or they're just leveraging it to lie to us, to get us to go. The reason that the Terminids even exist is because we breed them. Now, whether or not we were breeding them on Super Earth and that's how the attack happened, they're couching it as an invasion. And if they successfully invaded, then we can't stop fighting them. I'm saying two things. You have to continue fighting the Terminids, but you also have to call out and analyze everything that the Ministry is saying, because they're not being truthful. You should admit to breeding them with the bugs. No, the Ministry breeds them and puts them on planets so that they can be so they can harvest the oil from them. That's the whole point. That's what they want. That's how I said earlier. I said it's probably the Illuminate. If the Illuminate wants control and they want to spread their power, what better way to do it through a controlled populace of people who are fearful and killing a bug that grants them oil and economic power? And the minute we failed a major order, they told us we couldn't procreate. Why? Because they are controlling us. We are a subversive and controlled populace. We're doing what they say. The minute economic expansion can't happen, they're like, you have to stop breeding. They're treating us like cattle. All I was saying was that people really died because of Terminids, whether or not it was an invasion, or it was an outbreak, or they planted the bugs there. Like, they put the bugs in that neighborhood and let them kill that guy's family. I'll admit the camera was perfectly placed. I guess it could have been staged. I believe that Super Earth is under constant surveillance, and all of that footage was just raw camera feeds from the neighborhood. They have active cameras and surveillance in every neighborhood to keep anybody's skepticism, which is considered treason. If anybody questions the Ministry, you will be dealt with. Wouldn't surprise me at all if that's genuine footage from their own surveillance systems that they use to spy on us. Explain why the camera cuts to him right before they get killed. Out of respect for the family, he probably requested that they not show that footage because it was so violent, and they preferred to show the look of horror on his face because they're trying to get people to enlist. I'm telling you, the footage is real. That's what I'm telling you. Yes, they used it for commercial. Yes, they used it to get people to enlist in Helldivers. My entire point was that it's real. That family actually died right there in front of him. That genuinely happened. Now, whether or not it was an outbreak from a breeding colony where they were growing them, or they brought them to Super Earth, or the Terminids figured out a way to come to Earth, those people actually died in that footage. It's real footage. That's the entire point I was making. That doesn't mean we trust the Ministry. It doesn't mean we trust the Ministry of Lies or their propaganda. I'm simply stating that those people really died in that footage. There you go, moving the goalposts. You said earlier that was a real video and now it doesn't matter. No, it's a real video as in it's actual documentation of a family dying. And that's the part that's real. The fake family of a paid crisis actor really died. I think he had that hair and he buzzed it off and he enlisted. Explain that. He completely changes in appearance. Why? Because his family died. And they thought, what better person to be the poster child for the Helldivers than this guy whose family was murdered right in front of him. They probably approached him with a significant amount of money. They said, listen, we have enough surveillance footage to put together a really nice PR package. We're going to get people to enlist in Helldivers. Your family's death will not be in vain. That wouldn't surprise me at all if they sat this guy down and they slid a suitcase across a table and they said, listen, you can become the spokesperson for the Helldivers, right? Your family didn't die in vain. You're serving a good cause. Strength, honor, patriotism, all of that. Explain my last comment. Help me make it make sense. I'm sure he'd want to use his own trauma and watch it over and over to enlist people. That math ain't mathing. I just made it make sense, Trill. I didn't even see your question, and I already explained how they would have convinced this man to become the face of the Helldivers. Not hard to imagine. Hey, fight the good fight. Go kill these bugs. They killed your family. Why don't you help enlist more people to go kill these bugs? The only good bug is a dead bug, right? So, and he probably has been paid very handsomely for his efforts and for them using him in that commercial. Blah, blah, blah. You know I'm telling the truth because you guys don't even have a comeback. Your comebacks are just accusations. You don't have rebuttals. You don't have counter evidence. You don't have counter argumentation. Your counter argumentation is accusation, right? You sound like Twitter. That's what you sound like. You sound like people who can't piece together a good argument. Meanwhile, you guys should be ordering Reforge Roast today, right? Reforge Roast, both light and dark roast, are not drinkable by terminids or automatons. They're only drinkable by humans. So support Reforge Roast today. If you're a coffee drinker, you should try it out. I opened up a Kentucky Fried Terminids. Notice how Lono keeps ignoring the questions? I didn't ignore his question. I answered Trill's question. The ad was literally just an example. There's no way this paid actor actually smiled and pointed at the video and said, look familiar. The video would have had a total different presentation if it was real. Well, I think that's the power of the Illuminate and their religious zealotry and their ability to get people to disassociate from trauma, their ability to get people to completely compartmentalize. You know, think of how many Helldivers, see their comrades die every single day and that's just the cost of freedom. I believe that the Illuminate use their religious zealotry background to indoctrinate and brainwash people, and even to the point that he would laugh and say, look familiar at what happened to him. He's completely disassociated from it. Yeah. We've all seen this before. We've seen the documentaries. We've seen the movies where these crazy religious zealots convince people, to just smile through the pain and to be completely disconnected from reality. The Illuminate. Lono believes he's found something which has never been reported once from over 300 surveyed worlds. The Illuminate are in the game and they're in control of the ministry. I firmly believe that. The Illuminate want us to think that they've been wiped out because they're the ones that are in control right now. The coffee tastes suspiciously like watered down oil. It does not. Remember how Shiv controlled both armies during the Clone Wars? Are we sure the Sith aren't involved here? No. The ministry is definitely evil, but the world doesn't seem to have a good or a bad side. Who else would name their government organizations, their government offices? They're not bureaus. They're not committees. They're not the divisions, right? They're not the departments. They're the ministries. The Ministry of Science, the Ministry of Intelligence, the Ministry of Truth. That's all religious zealotry language. They're talking as if it's a church. That's religious language. It's not the Department of Intelligence. It's not the Scientific Research Committee. It's the Ministry of Science and the Ministry of Intelligence. It's all right there in front of you. The only people that would name their government departments ministries would be religious zealots. And I'm right. That right there, that to me is the biggest smoking gun in the room. Why would you name all of your government offices after, like you're running some kind of a religion? You would do that if you were the Illuminate. You wouldn't do that if you were actual patriots of liberty and freedom and science and intelligence. You wouldn't put everything in that sort of language or that context. It undermines the entire thing. Are we saying that religious entities can't be trusted? Religious zealots can't be trusted, for sure. Lono, the dude, let's talk about then. Look at him. Then look at his wife. Then look at his child. Something ain't adding up right there. What are you talking about? No. This all adds up.
Way of life.
Right?
But freedom.
It all adds up. The child is... Oops, sorry. I probably just blasted your eardrums. The child has a lighter complexion than his mother. What are you talking about? You know? What do you mean? There's so much here that's evidence that that's his son. That's not some paid actor. Look at how his mouth is open, and look at how he smiles, right? And look at how the kid smiles. Big, open mouth, kind of derpy smile. He's just like his dad. He's like, hey, he's just like his dad. Come on. That's his son. Without a shadow of a doubt, that is his child. Zoom in. All right, well, let's enhance the picture here. Look at that. Come on, bro. If you look at the complexion of her hand and her face, and you look at his complexion, he has a lighter complexion. Why? Because of his dad. Because of his dad. He doesn't have his mother's nose. He doesn't have her smile. He smiles just like his dad. It's like kind of like a derpy, open mouth smile. He's his father's son. It's as clear as day, right? His wife is a Terminid. I tuned in at the perfect time. That's not their son. You guys have got a lot of nerve, You've got a lot of nerve to claim that's not their son. How could you possibly know that? Got a lot of presumption going on here. Lono has a point here. The ethnicities aren't what should create doubt. The fact that he smiled is what should create doubt. Kid's Middle Eastern Asian. He could be adopted. Do we know? Do we know what the Super Earth adoption rates are? Maybe he's adopted, right? Maybe because of the procreation limitations from the ministry, maybe they were not allowed to procreate. Maybe there was a series of economic drought and they were denied the right to procreate, so they had to adopt a child. Have you ever considered that? You guys know about the ministry's adoption efforts and how they had children that needed homes, and they also had economic constraints to where they said we could no longer procreate, so they forced families to adopt, right? That could quite literally be what we're looking at is the evidence of this here, Now it could be adopted. It could be any number of things. You're just automatically assuming that it's not their kid. We don't have any evidence that it's not their kid. He turns and he smiles and he waves at his father. You think he's acting? You think he's acting when he falls down? Do you think he's acting? Does this look like the face of an actor? Look at this kid. Look at the terror on his face. That's real terror. Okay? That's real terror. He is actually genuinely scared right there. He is. You can't fake that. You can't fake fear. Not to that degree. Not when you're that young. No way. You don't see them get killed. It happens off screen, so it could have been a dramatic recreation. Okay, so if they don't die, then this Terminid is either completely CGI or this Terminid is under the control of somebody. Look at that Terminid. Ain't no way they survive this, bro. Ain't no way. That they don't survive this attack. Are you kidding me? Look at that. Look at that. Let's frame by frame it. Look at that downward. Look at that. That's headed right for Junior's head. You see that? That's over. In the next frame, he's done. See? This one here. This is the kill shot. Mom's watching. Mom's a little bit further back. Okay, her survival instinct took over. She's a little further back. She's outside of the damage. That Junior's done in the next frame. It's CGI, grow up. There ain't no way that's CGI. There's too many things that happen. There's an incidental, there's a broken pot behind me that the Terminid broke. You can see here, it broke. If we back up the frame here, no, it's not the pot, it's all their furniture. Right? See? There's nothing in frame over here. Look, he clearly crashes through. So you think they were that exhaustive in the creation of this video that they thought he needs to crash through their stuff? There's literal debris and evidence that he came flying up and kills them. And I mean, he gets splashed with blood. You think that's fake? I mean, I know it just happens to perfectly land on him, like somebody threw it at him, but I don't know. I think that really happened. I'm happy to see that your ministry-sanctioned re-education program over the weekend was effective. Welcome back, Helldiver. Not a single person on the street. They're literally smiling and laughing during an invasion. No, there are people on the street. Now you're just spreading falsehood. You can see there are people here at the park, right here, a little group. Some people here at the park, people at the park, people at the park, people on the sidewalk, people on the sidewalk, Helldivers in the street. Down here, we got more. Looks like a Helldiver down on his knee helping a kid with something like a broken toy or something, Car there, car. Plenty of cars, This is clearly a suburban neighborhood, Falling for bread and circus. Meanwhile, bots are encroaching on our space. I think you guys know that the truth is staring right in front of us. I'm not saying that it isn't propaganda. I'm not saying that the ministry is to be trusted. I'm saying those people really died. That's all I'm trying to say. The dad would have been immediately killed after? No, there are Helldivers close by. There are Helldivers close by. They would have protected him. Right? Oh, there's missing footage here. There's one where he waves. There's one where he waves to the Helldivers. There's an extended version of the trailer where... Yeah, this one. There's an extended version of this public service announcement, okay? And there are Helldivers right in the street. Super Earth. Our home. This is what we're looking at. This is what you're looking at right here. This is our home. All right? Look at all the people in the street. He waves at his neighbor, right? Oh, he feels great. Oh, and guess what? These guys are right there, okay? So they're literally 10 feet from this. So those bugs are dead a second later. They disappear? They don't disappear. They just didn't have a chance to do anything. That's all. The Helldivers are right there. That's how he survived. They were able to kill the bugs. I think it's pretty obvious. There's having to be a full camera crew around. It's not a full camera crew. We all know that because of because of the Super Earth Initiative for Surveillance, right? The SEIS, the Super Earth Initiative for Surveillance, the SEIS was passed many years ago. Every moment of your life is under surveillance. There are multiple cameras. There are drones. They need to know anybody who's having a treasonous thought or a treasonous word. So all is documented. They were able to go and capture all the SEIS camera footage, and they were able to put this together. And they convinced this guy to be a part of it because his family died. And they're like, I tell you what, we'll make it their deaths won't be in vain. Come on, it's obvious. Next shot, literally no one is to be found. Well, they kept on walking. So the Helldivers kept on walking. They probably heard the shouts, and the people died. They die really fast. So then seconds later, they probably came around the corner. There's probably like a hedge or some bushes or something. And then they shot the Terminid, and he was able to survive. They had 7 different angles on the same scene. Yeah, there are cameras everywhere. You can see cameras everywhere, right? There's cameras on the light poles. You can see a camera right there over his shoulder. There are literally cameras everywhere. right? That's a camera right there. That's a camera right there. Look right here on the pole. There's 2 cameras. That's just in this little spot right here. What is that, like 50 square foot? And there are 4 or 5 cameras just in this vicinity. I told you, the SIES passed many years ago. The Super Earth Initiative for Surveillance passed a long time ago. They have everything's under surveillance. There's not a moment of your life that's not recorded on Super Earth. Everything. And those Helldivers just kept walking. And you know that they would have come back after the fact and shot the Terminid and saved that guy's life. How's a large Terminid getting that deep into the neighborhood without people patrolling or being seen? You know the answer to this. You're asking the wrong question. They come up from the ground, bro. That Terminid probably popped up in somebody's backyard. They were at work. They weren't around. And then it started walking around. And it found a family in the front yard, killed them. Right then and there. How exactly did a bug wander all the way into a suburb? Exactly. How do you guys not know this? Have you not fought the Terminids? They have an entire system of popping up out of the ground to take you by surprise. How the Terminids get on Earth? That's the question we've been trying to answer, and we've been distracted by people asking all the wrong questions. Whether or not it's their son, or whether or not he's a paid actor. Well, where'd the Helldivers go? Those are all the wrong questions. The question that you should be asking is, how did the Terminids get on Super Earth? Did they get there on their own, and does that mean they're a genuine threat to Super Earth? Or were they put there by the Ministry? And if you don't have an answer to that question, then you're wasting our time. If they were put there by the Ministry, it backs what I've been saying the entire time, that the Ministry cannot be trusted, that the Ministry should be shut down, or that we should be investigating who's actually in control of the Ministry. If they actually did get to planet Earth, then, or Super Earth, then we have to wonder if they're a continued threat, just like the automatons, and they have to be fought. We have to fight them. Even though it unfortunately helps out the Ministry of Truth, the Ministry of Lies. They're not on Earth and it's a fake video. Gray names are from the Ministry of Truth. That's canon now. Yeah, all the gray names in chat are from the Ministry of Truth. Terminids are like 4 sectors away and they don't have ships. Yeah, but you don't know the history, though. The history was they have somehow the ability to reinforce. There are supply lines in between the planets, Eugene. They have the ability to do counterattacks and reinforcements on planets. Now, how do they do that? There's some type of interplanetary travel that they're able to leverage from planet to planet to mount reinforcements and to mount counterattacks. This is all documented. We know all of this is true. And if they're able to do that, then what's going to prevent them from doing the exact same thing on Super Earth? They just breed underground. Then how do they mount these counterattacks? How do they mount these reinforcements on these planets if they can't travel? How? When we successfully, defeat them, we've been told that there is some type of a network between the planets, and that's how they get from planet to planet. Did you put the bug on Super Earth? Did you do this? No, I didn't do that. I don't have that level of control or that level of clearance. I'm just a grunt like the rest of you. The supply lines are our supply lines. Do you ever think that they might use our supply lines to travel, Eugene? You ever watch the movie Aliens, where the Queen Alien put like an egg in the ship so that when the ship took off, the aliens got basically off-world? Have you ever thought about that, Eugene? We've got supply lines built between the planets, and you never thought that maybe, just maybe, the enemies that we're fighting could inadvertently use those supply lines? And that means they could then actually get to planet Earth, which would then therefore mean we have to fight the Terminids? Come on. They're claiming bugs have some Bifrost technology? No. They're clearly finding out a way to travel between the planets. The question is how. It's not a question of if they're doing it. We know they're doing it. The question is, how are they doing it? Watch the Terminid movements. They don't use supply lines. They can pop up wherever, whenever. But they would need supply lines if they're gonna get from one planet to another. Theoretically, a ball of flies the size of an inch can reproduce enough in a day to cover the distance from the Earth to the moon. Have you recognized how much explaining you have to come up with this story? Well, then you explain it, Eugene. What's the simple explanation that's staring me in the face? What is it? I want to know. You tell me. What's so blatantly obvious that I'm ignoring? Enlighten all of us. I welcome disagreement. I welcome, differing opinions. I do. I have the answer. This man was a bug sympathizer. He bought an egg, raised it, thinking it would prove that the bugs aren't hostile. It grows, succumbs to its nature, and its name is Sweet Liberty. But they say it's an invasion. Why would he do all that and then lie? That would be ridiculous. I don't know, Lono. You clearly have a lot of info to put out. It makes me wonder if you were responsible for bringing the automatons and the Terminids. Did you tell them where Super Earth is? I don't have any means of communicating with either of them. What are you talking about? Do you have information on how we can communicate with the automatons and the Terminids? That sounds like somebody that shouldn't be trusted. The bugs only show up where we breed them. They don't have ships. They live underground. And they've somehow figured out a way to have interplanetary travel. Haven't you been dishonorably discharged yet? $2 super chat from Rich Rod. Well, that's the real question, isn't it? Why have I not been dishonorably discharged? Why? Why do they allow me to stay in the ranks? Because they know they need every fighter they can get, to the point that they'll tolerate mutinous communication or treasonous communication. At least that's what they label it. They tolerate that because they're so desperate for bodies, they're so desperate for compliance that they'll let me stay as a Helldiver. And that's how you know that it is likely, it is very, very likely that we're dealing with the Illuminate. Very likely. They're okay with me saying what I'm saying. You know? They're okay with what I'm saying because they know I have to fight. I have to fight the automatons. I have to fight the Terminids. I don't have a choice. Don't throw it back like that. Let me speak with my friend about that. What do you mean, speak with your friend? About what? Your whole military career is CGI? I hope they bring both robots and bugs to Super Earth in the future. Why would you hope for that? Why would they eliminate somebody who promotes their cause? How am I promoting their cause by accusing them of lying? How am I promoting their cause by saying we're going to fail this major order? Don't do the major order. How am I promoting their cause by saying that we shouldn't be doing the termicide missions because the termicide's going to evolve the bugs? How am I supporting their cause by documenting the termicide evolving the bugs on my stream? I showed you guys what it was doing. Doesn't even make any sense. Why would they eliminate some? Oh, I already read that. Bugs put eggs on rocks and they launch into space. However, it is implied they can't actually do this, and the government is spreading the bugs to keep military funding high and the people distracted. Dude, I would buy into that. I would buy into the fact that the ministry is actively moving the bugs around. I would buy into that. You're promoting the fight against the bugs? I'm not promoting the fight against the bugs. I'm saying we don't have a choice because they're somehow traveling between the planets. I've said before that the only reason we're fighting the bugs is for the oil, which is for economic expansion, because they want a subdued and a submissive populace. Deflection tactics. You we're on to you, Lono, so you deflect back to the ministry. How am I deflecting? I'm telling you they're lying. You're in cahoots to keep people focused on the wrong thing. You once tried to kill me with the cluster strike. Only my athletics saved me. Don't trust Lono. I guess we know why Helldivers 2 won't be on Xbox. All the spare parts went into creating the automatons. I got something, says Raven. There's plants by the ministry. In real life, what's the one thing that would unite the world? An invasion. Whenever there is resistance on Super Earth, invasion. Lono conveniently avoiding the panspermia explanation. Sus. Is anyone still listening to this bug whisperer? How has nobody figured out by now that what he's doing is just spreading anti-Super Earth lies? I'm not spreading anti-Super Earth lies. I'm the only one telling the truth. Acidic primordial planet. I guess there's a new planetary type. Okay, got it. Kirk's got 27 hours in Ronin. I've got about 10, so that'll be a good stream. This guy says this approach supports your theory. We got a video here. We got a new video here. Hang on. When is this is a month old. GameSpot trailer. Super Earth Dr. George McGavin on bugs. Hang on a minute. I've not watched this before. Yo, Joker Quinn. Joker Quinn gifts a member. Thank you so much, and gets us to 29. Get us to 30 and see if you guys can't tempt one of the big boys to drop a 20 bomb. Lono is controlled opposition. No, I am not. All right, hang on. We got to unmute my PC, and then you got to turn the music up. I've not seen this before.
Hello, I'm Dr. George McGavin, world-renowned entomologist, explorer, and expert on all things bug-related. Super Earth have invited me here today to talk about common insects and interesting bug behavior, all of which can be seen in your garden, woodland, or local park. Our first bug of the day can often be found visiting local watering holes in search of their next meal. Insects are adapted to eat a wide range of foods. Take this little fella who you might find buzzing around kitchens. They actually vomit an enzyme-rich saliva to pre-digest their meals. Now, they can be something of a nuisance. Picnics in particular can be a playground for wasps and flies. Leave your food uncovered.
Hey, that was edited. Did you see that?
Playground can be something of a nuisance. Picnics in particular can be a playground for wasps and flies. Leave your food uncovered and you could end up with scenes like this. Sorry, these are not houseflies.
Keep going, George.
No, I came here to talk about regular bugs, not these things. No, you've set me up. This is an insult. I'm not a corporate stooge. Get your hands off me. They're lying to you. Don't believe a word of it.
I told you they were lying to us. That guy tried to tell us. He tried to warn us. Your regularly democratic programming will resume shortly. There was something across the bottom. Yeah. Joining Helldivers increases your family's freedom up to 178%. Okay. Does anybody know where he is? Does anybody know what happened to him? We got to get his name. Yeah. Dr. George McGavin. Does anybody have a location on him? Like, what happened to this guy? Has there been any other videos or updates? That's a very convenient video. That's a month old. I've never seen that before because it's on GameSpot trailers. It's not on any of the official information channels. That one slipped past me. You know, that was a month old. They clearly from that point, I mean, you can see they're trying to trick us. They're trying to mislead us. They don't want us to know what's really going on. The video wouldn't still be there if it was actually taken away. Well, What do you mean? That was a broadcast that everybody was able to get a recording of. You could clearly see. They said we'll be right back to your regularly scheduled broadcast or whatever. He's a real scientist. Yeah, but he was there to talk about houseflies, and they were trying to make it seem like he was talking about something else. They misled him, and he didn't want to even be a part of what they were saying. Yeah, those aren't houseflies. He wasn't there to talk about that. They tricked him, just like they're tricking us. You know? Hang on, what's this? I just posted this in the Helldivers channel the other day. Lono, the bugs are evolving. Oh, I didn't see that. That's just a meme. I thought you actually had like concrete information. Oh, and thank you, by the way. We're at 30 members. Joker Quinn decided. He's like, let's see if we can't tempt somebody to drop a 20 bomb. And now would be a great time to do it. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the final 30 minutes is like an AMA. The channel is now set to the chat. I'm sorry, is now set to members only. It's a great opportunity to gift members, help us get closer to the goal, bring more people in, and you guys have the opportunity to turn it into a gaming AMA. AMA stands for Ask Me Anything. Kirk says he got an ad on your stream that just said you are bugs for 5 seconds. That's weird. Wasted mind, brainwashed by ministry propaganda. Destroyed my first flying hive yesterday. It felt good. I need that video. What video? The one that we watched? The one that we just watched where they had like the scientists? I mean, I can put a link in the Discord. That's a reason to join the Discord. That's a reason to join the community, man. Let's see. It's in the members chat in the Discord. I didn't know Arrowhead and the Ministry did videos like that. Yeah, they've done regular videos, like the Helldivers Twitter account does like commercials and stuff. There was like a commercial that said that the termicide clearly prevented even worse mutations. Like once the bug started mutating, they were out there trying to run like damage control and acting like, well, the termicide wasn't the cause or whatever. Shooter McGavin disowned his brother after that. Wait, is there somebody else in the game with the name McGavin? Are you making a joke? Like, I don't actually know if they created that like lore overlap. I like how Helldivers is also a mini ARG. Yeah. There's more revelations coming. I told you guys by the end of this week there'll be more things that I'm correct about. In about 33 minutes, in about 30 minutes, I'm going to be hanging out with Kirk, talking about Rise of the Ronin. We're going to give you sort of a review on how last week we said the gameplay looked kind of rough. I don't necessarily think we're going to take back any of those statements, but the actual game itself is better than expected. So we'll be doing that in about 30 minutes. Right now, we're on a members-only chat. You guys can ask me about anything gaming related. It does not have to be about Helldivers. I think we've had our fun doing sort of a silly stream about, you know, what's been going on. Instead of just like updating you on what's been going on, we decided to try something a little bit different and a little bit more, you know, just in like a lighthearted, you know, fashion. any new weapons or stratagem you're really liking. I actually didn't get to play the game much over the weekend to try anything out. Like, I like the new what is it, the sickle from the war bond. I like the sickle against the bugs. I haven't got a chance to try out the new shotgun against the automatons because I do like the Punisher. The Punisher is... I like the Punisher. The Punisher feels good against the automatons. And but I was playing Rise of the Ronin pretty much all weekend. Now I was playing my daughter was playing Princess Peach, which I knew she was going to love it. She absolutely loves that game. Every time she gets to do something, she wants me to look and see. So she's having a blast. And then my son and I are playing through Rayman Legends. He was looking for a fun game to play together, and he found Rayman Legends, and so we played that. My wife and I played that a super long time ago on the Xbox and like got everything. So we're playing on the PlayStation. So just to free up the Xbox in case like my daughter wants to play something on it. I love the Alex Jono skit. It was fun. The sickle and the slugger are the only weapons you need to use. Yeah, I've not had a chance to use the slugger. But, yeah, did not have a chance to play over the weekend. Peter McGavin is in Happy Gilmore. Oh, I'm not sure if it's a fictional characters related to the actual scientists or fictional documentary. It's probably completely coincidental. You know, it's just a common, not a common, but it's just a last name they decided to use, I would assume. Yeah, the music levels in Rayman Legends are really dope. We finally got to do one, and my son was just laughing the whole time. Like, he dies on the levels that require you to go kind of fast. It's just a little bit too tough for him, but he ends up just laughing. Like, I end up playing the speed run levels, like where you're running really quickly, or like the music levels. I end up doing a lot of those by myself, but it doesn't matter. Like, he's laughing. He thinks it's hilarious. He likes the game. He likes in between when we do something, like he goes back, he does like the little scratch offs that they give you to, unlock characters and creatures. And then he goes to the hero's room and the creature's room, and he's always wanting to change his character. So he's liking it. The problem with him at his current, his personality and his age, he doesn't really want to complete games, which can be a little annoying. Like, we got a third of the way through the Skywalker saga. We got a lot further this time, but we didn't even get to really the good parts where you start unlocking the different abilities, and then you can go back and like get all the things. And he was like, I'm done. And I was like, okay. Do you think Hellblade will be 30 FPS? Oh, Hellblade 2? I don't know. We've not seen enough of the game, Hilly. I've not seen anything in the game that would tell me that it couldn't run 60 FPS on the Xbox Series X. But they'd have to let you, I would imagine they have to let you turn off some of the fancy lighting, right? And I guess Dragon's Dogma put out an update saying they're going to let people turn off motion blur. They're going to let people turn off ray tracing, and that it won't significantly impact the frames per second, which we knew that wouldn't be the case. We knew that the challenges facing that game are CPU, so no matter how much you lighten the GPU load, it's not going to suddenly rectify the abysmal performance. I think the worst part about that game, I honestly feel like we should have done a show on it today. I feel like just this morning I was thinking that would have been a better show. Helldivers thing is fun, but I don't think it's compelling. I don't think people are like dying to come in and engage with an hour of character like role play satire. I think that's probably better suited for short form. I mean, I had fun. I know you guys had fun, but I watched this morning Asmongold and Fighting Cowboy go back and forth. And I was like, you know what? We probably should have done a show on this because it's a huge conversation. And it uses global illumination. That's a ton of CPU power. Ray tracing uses CPU. They said that it wasn't going to significantly increase frames though, Eugene. They said they were going to target fixing that in a future update. And Zach and both Fighting Cowboy both agreed that the real frustration with the monetization is that it's distracting from the fact that the game runs like crap. Like, the people that are out here saying, like, oh, it runs fine for me, or it runs smooth on console. 30 FPS cannot be described as smooth, first and foremost. It's also not running smooth on console. It's not even maintaining 30, which is embarrassing. And there's all sorts of frame pacing issues that get introduced when you have an uncapped 30, because then it hits like 29 or 31, and that's not good. You want it to at least maintain 30 the entire time if you're actually one of the people that can tolerate 30. So I think in general, like, I think that would have been the show that, you know, and maybe we do that show tomorrow. I'm not sure. I don't know what the news cycle's looking like. I didn't want to necessarily circle back and cover it again because I kind of said that I wouldn't, but I think there's a bigger discussion going on. And I think it's a good discussion. There was, number one, there was a discussion about microtransactions. There was a discussion about whether or not the reviewers should have put that in their reviews. Should they have said, hey, even though I don't care about it, it's going to be in the game. Cowboy's reasoning was, this is the kind of nonsense that has been in Capcom games for the last couple of years, so I didn't think it was worthy of a mention because I'm not going to engage with it. I understand his perspective, and I think probably one of the best things coming out of this is he's like, listen, in the future, anytime there's any microtransactions, I'm going to give you a little blurb in the video about, like, there will be micros, here's the details, and then he'll just move on from there. Which I think is a good policy that he's right to kind of, you know, try to improve and to say, hey, I'm going to do a better job in the future, and I'm not going to leave something like this out. I don't believe that he left it out with an agenda. I believe he just genuinely left it out. He was like, this is stupid. Why are they selling this? He's like, I don't want to include this in my review. So he plays for over 100 hours, never even feels the need to spend any money in the micro store. And his main criticism in his review is that the performance is bad. So he said going forward, he will outline that anytime he reviews a game. But he also went back and showed that they did this in this Capcom game, they did this in this Capcom game, and nobody cared. Nobody cared. Like Resident Evil did it, like Monster Hunter Rise did it, and he was like, and nobody cared. Nobody said anything. It wasn't this big controversy where reviewers were getting attacked. And I think the diagnosis I think that I think is acceptable here is the game runs like garbage and people are angry, and so they're taking it out on reviewers and they're taking it out on the microtransactions. And it's like, the microtransactions are not the reason that the game runs poorly. It's not the reason that the game, you know, they made foundational decisions at some point to put way too much, you know, workload on the CPU. RE4 had backlash. Not like this, though. I think his point was reviewers weren't being attacked for saying RE4 is great. Do you see the difference? These reviewers all come out and they're like, yo, Dragon's Dogma 2 is great. It's awesome. And they're all getting attacked. They're getting called shills. They're getting called liars because they didn't include the microtransactions in their reviews. People have said they did not get that document. No, I believe that, Eugene. I believe that not everybody got the document. Do you want to know why? Fighting Cowboy himself said that he pulled that back and he realized that people were getting attacked because of what he said. He said that not everybody gets the codes through the same distribution, so that not everybody got the exact same documents. There were people that were literally like, I didn't get that link. I didn't get that email. I got a code. I played the game. I reviewed the game. Right? The game runs smooth on PS5. I'm glad that people can say that and think that. I can't play a 30 FPS game and ever describe it as smooth. It looks like the game is stuttering. I'm going to get into that when I talk about Rise of the Ronin with Kirk. I talked about that with Final Fantasy 16. I don't think you can describe that as smooth. I think it looks like cheeks. It looks like there's something wrong with the game. And the fact that you don't see that, like if you're the kind of player that doesn't see it, I'm genuinely jealous of you. You know, I'm jealous because I wish I could boot up. Detective C says, I got my code from Capcom. I did not have that document or a link to it. Just a code with embargo terms. Like right there, I trust Detective Seeds. Detective Seeds has no reason to lie to us. There are people that got codes to Dragon's Dogma 2 that had no link to the microtransactions. So Fighting Cowboy said he felt bad. He's like, my statements ended up leading to a lot of people getting attacked that were like, I didn't have a link to that document. I didn't get that. You know, there were probably people that would have included that in their coverage. Yeah, looks like cheeks. Yeah, same thing. Same thing, Angry Pete. There were no microtransactions in the builds that people were able to play. Okay, so it wasn't like it was in the game and you could go find it. And secondly, not everybody got a link to that document. I firmly believe that there were people that were like, what the frick is this? Where did this come from? Now, the people that did get a link to the document, again, I am not going to hold people like to some fire, like I'm gonna hold you to the fire here. You should have included that in your review. It's like, I would have. Anytime I've ever reviewed a game, I always check the store. I always make sure and say, this is what we know about the microtransactions. And I would have been like, oh, there's DLC planned. I would have opened up that document and been like, they're planning on selling in-game items. You know, the question of whether or not you need them is obviously up to the player. You know, the reason that the thing frustrates me is they seem completely unnecessary. It's invited a bunch of undue criticism, and it's basically running distraction or interference. It's basically running interference for the actual criticism that you shoved out a game that wasn't ready for the public to purchase at full price because of your fiscal year ending. And I think Rise of the Ronin did the exact same dadgum thing. Like, oh, our fiscal year's ending, crank these games out on the exact same date so that we can include it in our fiscal earnings, and neither game is ready for public consumption. And they're both charging full $70, AAA, price. And I think that's the conversation that nobody's having, because we're all talking about freaking, you have to pay to fast travel. Not even remotely true. If they had the document, they didn't say anything. They can't complain about the backlash or not saying anything. The outrage is because of the lack of knowledge. And then when you find out people knew. No, I think the outrage was because they were suddenly added at the last minute and the public wanted to go and blame the reviewers. Do you think the average person that bought this game on PlayStation, Xbox, or PC watched Fighting Cowboy's video? The outcry and the anger on Steam was not a bunch of people that are like, I bought this game because of Fighting Cowboy. No. They went and bought the game and they're like, what is this sucker punch? Why is all this crap in here? And I'm here to tell you that it's just distracting from the fact that the game runs like butt on PCs. Even strong PCs are not having great performance. They're not having the performance they're accustomed to, that's for sure. Now, there are people that are like, my PC runs it fine. Derp, derp, derp. Okay, fine. You're having zero problems. That means nothing in the grand scheme of the conversation. The larger conversation is, this game isn't built to run on a variety of systems in a good way. It's so CPU bottlenecked that depending on your rig, you might have a terrible experience or a passable experience. And people on console are like, we have to play a game that looks like, I don't see any next-gen graphics whatsoever, and we have to play the game at 30 FPS. I'm not seeing any evidence of graphics in either Rise of the Ronin or Dragon's Dogma that warrants frame issues. The frame issues are because of how the game has been built, not because of what the game is doing graphically. You've got to see the difference between the two to even remotely engage in the conversation. It's not like they're pushing insane textures and ray tracing. It's, no, you built the game in a way where it's bottlenecking and it runs like butt. That's why. They wouldn't have felt sucker punch if the people that knew about it had said something. This is false, Eugene. This is false. Again, the thousands upon thousands of people that bought the game on Steam didn't watch Fighting Cowboy's review. They would have bought the game and still felt sucker punched. And if somebody's comeback would have been, well, if you would have watched the reviews and the YouTubers, no, it wasn't in the game. It wasn't on Steam until after launch. And the vast majority of the consumers don't watch YouTubers. So there still would have been rage, there still would have been anger, and people still would have felt like they were sucker punched. They wouldn't have been like, oh, well, if I only would have went and watched YouTubers, I would have known about this. That's not even the YouTuber's responsibility, by the way. It's the developer and the publisher's responsibility to have this stuff in view of the public, to have the public informed before they buy the product, not doing it like after the fact. Like, that's the problem. You said including Capcom? Right. Okay, well, at least you're including Capcom then. I'm pushing back on the notion that, like, this would have all been solved if the portion of the YouTubers that got the document would have said something. You know what people would have done? They'd have done the same thing Fighting Cowboy did. They'd have been like, oh yeah, the last couple of games did that. Because he likely would have said that. He'd be like, it's a bunch of items you don't need. We've seen Capcom do this recently with Resident Evil and Monster Hunter, and they're doing it again with this game. Don't buy it. And he would have moved on to his review, and it wouldn't have been a blip on the radar. The reason it hit so hard is because literally people are like, wait, why are you selling items that, again, it conveys the false notion of, oh, I need this to fast travel. I need this to edit my character. Oh, I can only have one save. Even Fighting Cowboy was like, yeah, if you want to get rid of your save, you got to go through these steps. Come on, that's a backwards way of letting people have freedom within the game. And all of those are valid criticisms that would have landed either way. It's sad because within there is a phenomenal experience and an RPG to enjoy. I only have 20 hours so far. Well, and that's the thing. A good game is being shrouded in two fogs, right? The fog of microtransactions and the fog of bad performance. There's all this stuff in the way. The Steam scores are going up of 52%. That Steam score will never recover. I'll tell you that right now. It'll never fully recover. 35,000 people have reviewed that game. It's got a 52%. That game's overall score will never recover from that. I don't care how much fixing you do. If in a month the game's running like a dream, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. People aren't going to go back and buy it again. People aren't going to go back and change their score. There's too many games coming out. There's a bunch of those people have already refunded and moved on. Yeah, it's not even about VRR. It's not even about frame dips. There's so much more to that, Mr. B. I'm going to be talking about that in about 9 minutes with Kirk. We're going to be talking about Rise of the Ronin. People should have known how bad performance was coming too. Writing was on the wall. And that, again, is where I took, the other day when we did our show about this, I laid that at Capcom's feet. I was like, quit playing these games where you won't stink and tell people about the performance of the game. We had months of rumors about 30 FPS, and nobody would say anything. Nobody. There were people who got a hands-on demo. There were people that could reach out to developers for comment, and we couldn't get a word on, is this game going to be a 30 FPS game? Like, what's going on here? We just had a bunch of rumors, and we had one outlet claiming that, well, we played the demo, and we were given assurances it's going to hit 60. At least they're fixing the save issue. Oh, yeah, save issue. What the heck? It's a nothing burger. I really don't understand the issue with microtransactions. You don't need to purchase microtransactions for any game. Okay, here's the problem, though, with that attitude, Liquid. Let me just push back on what you're saying, okay? They're not selling cosmetics. They're selling things that are in the game that they restrict and make them pain points. Now, I know you're immediately going to get the defense force that says, but you don't need them. But you don't need them. It doesn't matter. It's the perception of you have in-game constraints with save file and fast traveling and editing your character. All these things that if I want to do those things, I have to navigate the in-game systems. But if you pay money, you can minimize that pain or minimize that inconvenience. So it doesn't matter. Like, I don't have any, I liked Fighting Cowboy's perspective on it, but he's like, you don't need this, don't buy it. It just doesn't matter. And he's in agreement that they shouldn't be in there. Like, I think he's frustrated by it. He's like, this shouldn't be in here, it's stupid. That's why people are upset. Because the perception is, you created in-game constraints and in-game currencies to limit what I can do, but if I feel like swiping a credit card, I can minimize some of that. I don't have a problem with the presence of microtransactions in general. The lack of upfront knowledge is the problem. People are pre-ordering a product and the product changed the moment it went live. I don't even think that should be allowed. I don't think that should be allowed. I think there should be a policy on Steam and at Sony and at Xbox. If you are going to procure pre-orders, then all that information should be up front. All of it. When I download a free app or a paid app on my iPhone, it tells me in-app purchases right there. I know I'm buying a game that's going to be trying to get me to spend money inside of it. I know from the minute I download it. You should not be able to procure pre-order funds without the consumer being properly informed what in the frick they're buying. That, quite literally, that's consumer protection law. I think the government should get involved. You should not be allowed to sell something, pre-order, oh yeah, here's what you're going to get, cool. And then the day it goes live, they're like, yeah, surprise, we got all this extra stuff. It's like, no. You got my money to sell me something, and now you're changing it at the last minute. Imagine pre-ordering like a movie on Amazon, and the day it goes live digitally, they're like, surprise, there's all these extra deleted scenes you can now buy. And it's like, wait a minute, I didn't know that. I thought I was pre-ordering a complete movie. Now you've got all this extras you're trying to sell me now? What the heck? The product changed once I got it? That should not be allowed. The consumers should be protected from that. And instead of talking about a poorly optimized game that another company shipped before it was ready because they were interested in clearing getting it out for their fiscal year, instead of talking about that, we're talking about a bunch of stupid microtransactions. We should be talking about the abhorrent practice of selling something before it's ready. I'm going to be torn today with do I or do I not recommend Rise of the Ronin, because they did the same dadgum thing. They're selling something at full price that wasn't ready for the public. They knowingly did it, motivated purely by their own fiscal calendar. So consumers are buying something that's not ready for public consumption. There's a handful of things I want to talk about actually in that video with Kirk. I need to give myself an outline here. Story. What was the other thing? Goes comparisons. Okay. I have a fan. I must have another fan in my streaming rig going bad. Because every once in a while I hear it and it like freaks me out. That's your 20th super chat, Sneaky Wolf. Thank you so much. A $10 super chat says, we got to figure out what we want as gamers. It's either grimy microtransactions or $100 to $120 games. Dev costs have gone up, and they have to make up for that, right? Yes. That doesn't... Okay, the presence of microtransactions is not what we're debating. It's not about that. It's about full transparency. That's what it's about. It's never been about, like, I've never taken the position of, how dare you have microtransactions in your game? I've continually tried to tell people. Hang on. Okay. It's not coming through on the broadcast. I heard something in my headphones. Ah, come on. Trying to get my hip to pop. It was at like a 40% when I checked it, so it's gone up from 40% to 52. All right, let me get Kirk on the line here. Oh, my camera's terrible. Hold on. You're just going to have to deal with the janky camera angle. I can't get it where I want it.
For you? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, me either.
No, you're fine. I was talking about my camera for
Oh.
specifically for you.
Hold on, let me. Oh yeah, that looks terrible.
Okay. I gotta mute the browser so we can have some footage without the volume.
No, I don't want that.
We'll use MK.
Oh, you're not gonna use yours? I was gonna say just use yours.
Well, oh yeah, I guess I played.
Yeah.
I forgot that I streamed it. I was thinking that I just played over the weekend. Yeah, we'll just use mine. I always prefer to use my
It's
own.
spoiler free too, so I can give them all the info they need.
Yeah, but the only
27
problem
hours.
only problem is when I use mine, like my camera's like there. No, we'll have to-
It didn't bother me for Dark Forces, like watching it back, but up to you.
Yeah, we can just use MK because his stuff, it'll just be the early gameplay, all like the early.
As long as he doesn't have like Ghost in there.
Oh, like Skill Up did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not. That's not going to be here. Okay.
Extra Life has great stuff as well, obviously.
Okay. Let me schedule the video here. I haven't played it. I played a little bit this morning.
You didn't even get to like you haven't encountered the other character you made again, right? The woman.
No, like that's part of what I'm doing. Like that's part of the story. Is like I'm trying
into
to
the consulate.
Yeah, because I just
Okay.
did. I fought the drunk guy because I was taking pictures.
Oh yeah.
I was like, this guy's drunk and he's kicking my butt. I was like, get the frick
Dude.
out of here with this.
So yeah, we can talk about that, but you can redo fights, which is a really great aspect of this game. So yeah, I train with him, and he just gets hammered every time before we train, apparently, because it's like that drunken fighting style.
Okay. I want to make sure that you're tagged.
It is not a ginger day, by the way. So
Okay. All right.
go as long as we need.
Well, our video last week did really, really well because there were people that both agreed and disagreed with us on the fact that the gameplay looked rough. And
I disagree with me now, so it'll be interesting to talk about that.
yeah, that'll be fun because I'm not really going to retract any of that.
Interesting.
yeah.
I didn't watch what we said, so if you can maybe recap with like 3 lines or whatever of what you remember, that'd be great. But
Yeah, I can do that when we're in the show. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, and I apologize. Like, probably in the future, I need to take like better notes, like while I'm playing. But it was more like I didn't know.
I've
far I was gonna get.
got some categories that should help with questions to help you kind of like
Okay.
because like even the Ghost of Tsushima comparisons, I was thinking to myself, there's little spots that I'm like, I get it now, but I also want to push back on some of the comparisons as well. So that I think
Because I would just be playing and I would be like, oh man, like that's so cool, or I'd be like, oh, that's annoying that they did that way or whatever. But like I don't remember all of those things.
well,
per se.
I'll be able to jar some of your memory talking about it.
But I had to play so much just to get can't tell, I'm a little bit under the weather. I had to play so much just to get to the midway point of the story.
I'm
Like-
just I want to save it for the show.
Yeah, what you
I
were
don't want to say.
DMing
I don't want to
about.
say anymore. Yeah. Because I DM'd you like what I'm doing.
I want to
I'm like,
know what the hook is for that for you, because I haven't really. I'm gonna go do that now, but yeah.
Yeah.
Why is this like? Is this just because this is a PS3 case? Is it just gonna look like booty?
Possible.
Sort of like the game. Why
Yeah,
can't
I was
Why
trying
can't
to.
I
I was trying to
see
beat
you, by the
Hi-Fi. I was
way?
trying to beat Hi-Fi Rush, but this one took
how
my
do
attention.
Oh, I gotta do this and then. I guess I'll pull up chat.
Yeah, they're dogging your camera. They're being
Oh,
they're
for
being jerks.
15 FPS.
Yeah, it's a bad combination of a webcam as well as the Discord and then capture card. Like, you're
Guys,
going-
I'll see if I can get a cheap camera. Because if it's gonna be as much as a mic, I might as well get a mic. But I do agree. I do not have Chick-fil-A today. 30 FPS Kirk. Hey, better at me be at 30 FPS than the games, right?
Okay, tweets are sent. I'm gonna hit the Discord, and then I'm gonna quickly run upstairs and use the restroom, and then we'll switch.
Okay.
Guys, before we leave the stream, do me a favor. Where are we on the like count? Yeah, we could hit 300 likes. This video could actually do okay. Helldivers content sometimes gets picked up by YouTube later. So give us 22 more likes, and then when we get over into the new stream, do the same thing. You know, go a little crazy, and there's the link in chat of where we're headed. So make sure and smash the like button on this video, and I'll be right back, and we'll switch gears. You guys can talk to Kirk though. He's got chat pulled up. I'll be right back.
What do you mean full? What do you mean full collared? It's an undershirt. This is a Hanes undershirt. I don't know what you mean by full collared. Okay. Who wears a tank top under a polo? That's weird, dude. I could see a V-neck, but I don't agree with tank top under polo. Doesn't make sense. Yeah, V-neck. I can understand. I mean, guys, I would just take the shirt off and put the polo back on, but I don't know if Lono is cool with me just like taking my shirt off on stream. Suppose I could cut my camera off. Yeah. Okay, I will do it. I'm gonna cut my camera off though. They told me that I had to take the shirt under my shirt off.
I came back and it was like two me's,
Yeah,
two me
yeah.
cameras.
Well, I didn't know if you were cool with me disrobing on your stream, so.
No, that's not good for the advertiser friendly rating.
Yeah, so turned it off. I can go full chest. Going off the rails. Guys, why did we lead with this? Like, why is this the topic of the day? You know, like, yeah, I know it's better. That's why I did it. I literally was like, I'm sure if I go comfortable and like wear an undershirt today, nobody's gonna say no. Not Lono's chat. I should have known.
Goodness.
What do you mean? It's the top button's already unbuttoned, so you want this one too? Like,
There you go. Now you don't look like a serial killer.
What?
Serial killers are the ones who...
Bottom button is normal.
Oh yeah, the bottom button's fine. They're just being, chat's just being, they're just being jerks. Guys, we need 11 more likes. Do that quickly before we leave, all right? The likes are acting up again. There ain't no way I asked 300 some odd people and it didn't move it. There's no way. It's probably acting up again. All right, click the link in chat. We're going to redirect.
Hold on, don't do your intro. I'm tweeting.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, here we go. Thanks so much for checking out this video where on Monday afternoons we've been sitting down with Kirk to discuss the latest games. And Rise of the Ronin, last week we said gameplay looked rough. And we're kind of revisiting the game after playing it quite a bit and saying it is better than expected. Now, he might walk back some of what he said. I still am going to hold to this game graphically is not where it should be performance-wise as well. We are hoping for some patches. We do know that this game released on the exact same day as Dragon's Dogma 2, largely because that's when the fiscal year ends for these companies, and they're, committing to fix them later, which is kind of getting old. But I'm going to end the previous stream, which was about Helldivers 2, and bring everybody over, and make sure you guys go back and watch that one. That one was pretty fun. I'm in danger. So, Kirk, thanks so much for being here, dude. How much time have you spent in the game so far?